Alright guys, this part, we're not going to do it recording on 4K. However, I'm going to be recording this in 60 frames per second because I want you guys to see the difference between 60 frame per second high frame rate and then 30 frames per second frame rate. Okay, so let me go ahead and switch it back to 60 frames per second. This is still being run on native 4K. It's just I'm not recording it in 4K. I'm recording it in 60 frames per second 1080p. So I'm going to go ahead and turn off the 30 frames per second and keep it at 60. Now you're going to see a huge difference once I do that. Here we go. And it looks much smoother.
Only a few hours left until curfew.
Better hurry up then.
I mean, here, let me show you. This is my controller. Just so you can see how fast it is on 60 FPS. And this is running native 4K 60 FPS. And look how fast it is. That's what you get with the Pro.
I got some of the damn papers this morning. I've been selected for outside work duty.
That's such crap. Soldiers are supposed to handle the outside.
I'll make sure to
Now, another thing that you will notice is when you turn on the 60 FPS, you do lose a little bit of anti-aliasing, which means that you do see some jaggies here and there, but it's not that bad for 2160p. The textures are still there, they're noticeable, but they're not like as rich as they would be if I turn it back to 30 frames. Now, I'm going to turn it back to 30 frames per second, and you will see that there will be less jaggies over here by this door. So let's switch it back to a 30. Now once I turned it to 30, okay, I can clearly see the textures are much richer right now. Hold on. The textures are way sharper and richer right here than they were when I turned it back to 60. Anti-aliasing, it's way higher. But the sacrifice you get is the 30 FPS, which is not bad. For a game like this, 30 FPS, it's fine by me because you want to enjoy the graphics. You know, like look at the textures right here on this wall. This is beautiful textures. Now, once I switch it to 60 FPS, I'll leave it at 60 because the whole point of this video is for you guys to see the how this game runs on 60 FPS 4K. So we'll leave it at 60 FPS. You turn the 30 frames per second, turn that off. And look. It looks much better. You see, like on the wall over here, I don't know if you guys can see it. You know, it's hard to see with the camera. But like over here, like on this building where this guy is patrolling on top of the building, I can see a little bit of jaggies. But that's because we're sacrificing, you know, we're running this at 60 FPS. So we are sacrificing anti-aliasing and textures. So it's kind of like on a PC, you know, you have to sacrifice. Do you want the 60 FPS? Then you gotta sacrifice a little bit on the textures. But this is still good considering this is running on 4K 60 FPS.
Jesus.
Let's get down. Hands on your fucking head. Do it. Alright, get it.
Seems like more people are getting infected.
There's one more people who see.
They fucking lynched him.
Entire squad?
Yeah. I got something that they lined up in the street and give us any static up there. Play cool.
You see, you clearly can see those frames. Like, look at the water, like this water right here. You see how it moves really fast. You see the effects of the water moving much faster because you're using 60 FPS. Now, if I go to the 30, we're gonna see that, you know, drop down. But however, the textures will be richer. You see textures immediately, even on this tire, the textures got a little bit better. But it's not as fast. You see, that water doesn't move as fast because we just dropped it down to 30. So it's kind of like, you have to ask yourself, like, what do you want? Do you want to play this game in a 30 FPS, but then you're going to get much richer, enhanced graphics? I would say play this on 30 FPS because, you know, the whole idea of this game is to enjoy the graphics, you know, especially in a 4K HDR. If you play this on HDR and you turn it on 60, you're going to lose some of that enhancement. So I would say leave it on 30. And I played this game on a 30 FPS on PlayStation 3 and I had no issues, I had no problems. You see the detail. Look at that glass being broken down. There's bullet holes on it. Like there's a numerous of detail on the asphalt and everywhere that shows up. But for this test, we're gonna move it back to 60 FPS. I would say only for competitive games. I would say go with the 60 FPS games, like, you know, Call of Duty, Battlefield. That's where you really want that 60 FPS.
What's your business here? Day off. Visiting a friend. All right. We'll run through it. Thanks.
You see how fast it is on 60 FPS? It's way faster. Here, let me run some more. Hold on, let me just show you. See how fast the game is? It's like a Call of Duty now. It's almost like you're playing Call of Duty. And this is pretty good for a 4K 60 FPS, man. I would say this is fantastic for a 4K 60 FPS.
So much for the easy route. Patch yourself up, all right? They're gonna close all the checkpoints. We're gonna have to go around the outside.
Outside the wall.
Or we could just let Robert go.
Look at the dynamic lights and the shadows. I mean, just look at that. This is one of the most accurate dynamic lights and shadows that I have ever seen. And my camera's not doing justice. You guys truly have to see this in person, like on your TV.
You see that shit?
I was there. It has the east tunnel looking.
It's clear. I just used it. No patrols. And where are you off to?
Gonna play Robert.
You too?
All right, guys. Next video.
She's
Have a good one.
trying to find him.
Marlene.